we're beginning playing the field with a reaction to the NBA All-Star Game.
Yes.
As we mentioned in the intro. And all the festivities that took place over the weekend, there were many, honestly, more festivities than basketball being played. It happened in San Francisco. The annual event has actually taken heat in recent years because it's just been kind of a little bit of an embarrassment. And fans have actually called it, there's just a lack of competitiveness.
Yeah.
This time around, the NBA did change up the format quite a bit.
Yes.
And let's just say it didn't really go as planned.
No. Players were broken up into 4 teams and played a series of shorter games and then kind of amounted to like a tournament style, amounting to the championship. But it was the actual broadcast format that had the players annoyed because...
And fans.
Yes, and fans. In the 3 hours of game time, only... roughly around 42 minutes of actual basketball was played.
That's
3-hour broadcast,
crazy.
42 minutes.
That's wild.
Insane. And to make matters worse, the players did not really love the constant interruptions from Kevin Hart and the Inside the NBA crew. And you can hear a clip of Kevin Hart and OKC star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting into a little verbal spat. Tempers were flaring.
Yeah. Also... I mean, I understand Kevin Hart was just there to get his bag and he was like hired to do a job, but it's just like...
And he's like a comedian, you know? He's there to entertain.
Yeah, I don't find him very funny all the time.
Ooh. Shots fired.
That's it. That's the tweet. Do you think the players were as annoyed as like the broadcast was making it seem? Or like...
I don't know. I do think that... Yeah, I mean, I think that they weren't having a good time, to say the least.
They were straight up not having a good time.
Straight up not having a good time. Yeah, it was just like the vibes were not there.
Well, did you see LeBron didn't even end up playing?
Yes, so he was a late scratch, which...
what does that mean?
A lot of people were heated about. So he essentially bowed out with like 90 minutes before...
he didn't even put his uniform on, I saw.
No. He said he was dealing with some ankle like irritability, some maybe like ankle soreness. Foot and ankle discomfort.
There we go.
I wanted to get that right. But I think people weren't mad at that. People were more mad that it was like 90 minutes before the game so that he couldn't be replaced by anyone. And so like, I mean, let's be real though. Sometimes if you don't know, it's like a game time decision, you know? I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, so you believe that he had
I'm giving him... He's an old man. No offense. No offense.
Guys, Caroline just called a 40-year-old man old.
Okay. As an athlete,
you're
years,
right. I know.
Ancient.
I was just trying to stoke the fire.
Of course. But like, also, no offense to the 40-year-olds out there. Please don't come for me. But like, yeah, he's an old man. So I feel like he's just a little bit more battered and bruised and maybe just a little fragile. And so, you know, you have to be a little extra cautious with those tweaks.
Okay, well, I thought that he just didn't want to participate because it was so goofy, the whole thing. I mean,
think that's why Anthony Edwards didn't participate.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He also tapped out. He's like, LeBron's not playing? I'm not playing.
He said,
The hell?
Couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was tough.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I think, hard because it seems like the NBA wants people... us viewers to take it more seriously, like the All-Star game, because from what I understand, I didn't grow up watching it, but like people used to love watching
the dunk contest used to be quite literally iconic.
Yeah,
like it would draw an insane crowd, insane viewership, and like it used to kind of give you a product that you wouldn't see on the court,
obviously, because like dunking can be a little dangerous.
Yeah, and it was just also they were doing like crazy dunks.
Yeah, that you can't just
like,
do during the game.
People and all this nut stuff. So it used to give you an element that you wouldn't see on the court, and now I think because players don't want to get injured and they're just being a little bit more cautious, they don't even want to play, and so which is funny because. The incentive isn't like the winner. I'm pretty sure the winner of the little tournament that they did had like millions of dollars as a reward.
It's like a little under $2 million. Yeah.
Sorry, a little under
get,
two.
Like, not for nothing, but
I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for them. I understand, but like still, like a little money here and there that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I also thought it was interesting because last year. I tuned in for the Sabrina and Steph 3-point contest because I was like, oh, this actually sounds so interesting. I'd love to see how the two go against each other and how she fares, how he fares. And they didn't have that this year.
Well, it was on purpose.
Yes.
At least.
Care to explain?
Well, you said Sabrina, right?
Yes, Sabrina. But like, they wanted Caitlin Clark this year.
That's what I was getting at, was that she was invited, but she was like, no, I'm good. And she was like, I'd rather save my 3-point contest for when the WNBA All-Star Game happens this summer, I believe in July. Also in Indiana.
Yeah.
And she's a Fever player.
Yeah, so makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's like they didn't have that draw, so I think they lost some viewers. But like, to be fair, I think that speaks to the WNBA because they're like, no, if we're going to like draw this crowd to you guys, like we want to draw the crowd to us. So like kind of almost recognizing their own value in a sense, which I loved.
I would call it a tasteful gatekeeping.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Why? Yeah. I mean, hopefully this means that Steph Curry will show up on the WNBA All-Star Game court and
love that.
Rip out a couple threes.
Him, anyone. LeBron.
Yeah, truly, honestly.
Yeah, like I would just love to see the favor kind of be repaid.
Yeah, since they, say they love the WNBA.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
But
overall, I think the All-Star Game, while the NBA tried to make it more serious, they also, or tried to make us take it more seriously, they made it actually so unserious with how many ads there were. Little Kevin Hart making his jokes. And then, I feel like some players didn't take it as seriously as they wanted. And
yes,
I don't know.
Let me actually get into that because there were a couple of other notable events at the NBA All-Star Weekend, including the dunk contest.
Right, as we mentioned.
We'll get into that during Send It. But the skill competition drew a lot of eyeballs, most notably because San Antonio Stars Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama got disqualified for not attempting legitimate shots at the basket.
Yeah, I loved this so much because basically I think so they were trying to, or they did really.
They did.
They just didn't quite succeed because it was deemed illegal, but they were trying to exploit a loophole where they would have been able to set the best time by skipping the actual shooting portion. So it was really just like a time contest rather than like an accuracy of
obstacle course.
Yeah.
And like
you're just trying to finish first.
Yeah.
But
they didn't do the actual obstacle. They just like took the balls off of said basket and just like chucked them in the air instead of actually trying to take a shot.
Yeah.
And make the basket.
So what did you think?
Well,
so sorry, to put a button on the story, they did this. They thought they could get away with it. They did not. And they got disqualified from the skills challenge.
Yes. So I thought it was actually hilarious when the NBA rep came over and was telling them like, oh, you've been disqualified. And Wemby was like shook to his core. It was kind of like when your older sibling talks you into doing something that like they know probably isn't great, but like they still want to do it anyways. And the younger sibling is then like, wait, what? I didn't know that I would get in trouble from this. Like I was just kind of following their lead.
Yeah.
And he was definitely distraught. But Chris Paul seemed unfazed.
Nobody was surprised by Chris Paul on this action.
Yeah, he seemed
They call him CP3 in the streets.
In the streets.
Do you know why?
Tell us why.
I looked it up because I was like, why do they keep calling him CP3? Like to me, I had like, I reversed the letters in my head, so I thought it was like PC, and I was like compute, like he's a computer. No, it's because like him and his brothers all have like the same initials. Like it's like 3 of them CP, so he's CP3.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, the more you know.
I liked that you thought it was PC though.
I had a moment.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sometimes I mix up my letters.
It's okay.
But also, I saw that the NBA official didn't allow a reporter, her name was Allie LaForce, to interview them afterward.
Be for real.
What is so stupid?
Be for real.
It's
the All-Star Game. You have Kevin Hart out there making jokes.
And you're not going to let her interview them on their hijinks.
Okay, I just have to say, we're going to get into this in a hot second. But like the juxtaposition from the NBA All-Star Weekend and all of their activities to the NHL, like 4 Nations All-Star Tournament is so different.
Yeah. Like
one of the stars that got interviewed and was a big controversy got interviewed right after the first period. And so it's like, okay, let them interview. People, that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
They want to hear
especially behind the jokey moments.
Come on.
And I just think, given how, like I said, unserious this event was, like,
couldn't agree more.
They were just running with it. They were running with the unseriousness.
I just thought that they should have let, like, just take yourself a little less seriously.
Yeah.
Like, just play into it.
And I don't think anyone should be surprised that I was like, yeah, I like that they found this loophole and ran with it. Also, like, I'm sorry, if you don't want people to exploit the game, then make it unexploitable.
Okay,
NBA.
also, though, that Draymond Green said that Wemby did, in fact, go around and ask several people if his strategy was legal. And so...
Wemby would. He's so good.
But, like, apparently he just asked the wrong people because, like...
He was tipping them off too early.
You know what he was doing? He was asking dad and he wasn't asking mom.
Right.
Because let's be honest, mom has ultimate veto power and she makes the rules. And it's like dad can say, sure, you can do whatever you want.
He should have known.
Doesn't mean yada in the end of it.
Yada.
I had to come up with a word.
Yeah. But speaking of Wemby, so both him and Giannis, aka the Greek Freak, they suggested that the NBA actually pivot to a new format, especially given the backlash of this weekend. Sort of akin to what we're about to talk about, the NHL. What are they called? The Four Nations?
Four Nations, yeah.
The Four Nations games. So basically they would have like a U.S. versus the world. So U.S. team versus the world team. I don't know if they just mean two teams. I don't know if it would be like Olympic style.
Yeah, I don't...
What do we think?
I mean, I'm here for mixing it up. I just think that, like, you have to actually... Clearly, money is not the incentive there.
Yeah.
But, like, you have to put something on the line, whether it's, like, honor for your country, a gold medal. I don't know. But, like, something that actually kind of makes the players want to showcase their skills and play to their best capability.
Yeah.
So, I don't... Maybe
especially
because
I don't think this All-Star game is going anywhere, given, like I said, like how many ads were played. Like this is a big money-making weekend, I think, for the NBA.
Yeah.
But I think I'm pro taking this worldwide.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of NBA fans out of the US. Let us not forget.
I would also love if, I don't know, something like maybe more niche and like more specific to the All-Star tournament. So like it's kind of never been done before. I know you were talking about the Unrivaled.
Yeah. So in their mid-season tournament that just happened was like a 1v1 situation.
Love that.
Which is so scary.
So scary.
Oh my God. It's like when I go to karaoke and sing on stage by myself.
Yeah.
It feels like that. Yeah. I mean, that has been floated around as a possibility, or even like 3v3. I don't know.
I just think that would be fun, you know? Like give us the roots of basketball.
What is like an unhinged thing that would make you tune into this game? Just like for closing thoughts, because I have a couple.
Of course you do. I don't have anything like top of mind unhinged, but like for example, last year the Sabrina and the Steph 3-point competition, that I was like, yeah, I'm game. So it's like, okay, maybe it's who can make the furthest basket, like a Caitlin Clark and someone else, and they go like head to head of who can go further back and continue to make the basket.
Yeah. Okay, well, the thing that triggered this question in a way was, like you said, getting back to the roots of basketball. This tournament was played in like pickup style.
Yes.
So I want this to be like a true pickup game. I want to see them on like a concrete court in Manhattan. Adam Sandler is off to your right playing his own game.
Okay.
I want to see sweaty jerseys that haven't been washed in weeks. I want to see the sweatbands that haven't been washed in weeks that are threatening a relationship. Your girl, you know.
Totally. That are Katie's not holding back any hair.
Katie, you got to get rid of it or I'm breaking up with you.
Completely.
What else do I want to see?
You know what, actually, now that you're giving me this inspo, I want them to play horse.
I was always so bad at horse.
Think about the roots of basketball.
Listen, for the kids who like aren't that good about, you know what I mean?
I
like,
don't know. I think you could. I think you could come up with some pretty good trick shots. Like, remember the kids that used to do the behind the back?
Never me. Or knockout. Remember knockout?
Oh my God, that would be fun.
The stress levels. Oh yeah,
that was
up to here for someone like me.
It wasn't good for my anxiety.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there could be some.
I'm thinking like an ounce of forced embarrassment. I think that's another thing too. Because like why. I feel like people were talking about how LeBron didn't participate because he knew how much of a clown show this was going to be. And it's like he didn't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so, but I think that we need to embarrass these people, humble them a bit.
Agreed.